Les taules de quiròfan.
Han chocado entre ellos. Yo creo que salió el equipo de 7.
Igual. Mira ese coche. Ambiente sin robo. Ojo amb nosaltres, tios.
The National Meteorological Agency, EMET, has lowered the warning status from red to orange in Catalonia due to heavy rain and ended the red alert in Aragon. The ADF has announced that train services in Catalonia will gradually resume starting at 7 o'clock p.m. and has announced the restoration of high-speed rail connections with Madrid. This change will also allow the Mediterranean corridor to operate again. Rodalies de Catalunya has explained that once the storm warning ends, traffic safety checks will be carried out, leading to the gradual restoration of disrupted services. The president of the Generalitat Catalan government, Salvador Illa, met with his crisis committee this afternoon to closely monitor the development of the rain and windstorm that hit several regions of Catalonia this Saturday. Illa met with several government ministers, officials from the emergency department, the Catalan Meteorological Agency, Mediocat, and representatives of the Generalitat Catalan government in the regions on alert. Illa urged maximum caution given the weather forecast, which predicts the possibility of rain and strong winds, as well as hail up to 2 centimeters in diameter. At Barcelona station, a sense of confusion and resignation prevailed due to the cancellation of all commuter, regional, medium-distance, and high-speed trains. Long lines of frustrated passengers awaited information. Users of the hard-hit Catalan rail network are accustomed to incidents, and because it was Saturday, there were fewer people on the road than usual. However, the screens were blank and there were almost no information providers. For high-speed rail passengers, each train company has its own unique approach. Renfe and Ireo provide information at their respective ticket counters. In the case of Owigo, security personnel did not know where their information providers were located, and the company only advised via social media to wait for information via email. The Generalitat Catalan government sent a message to mobile phones in Catalonia this afternoon due to worsening weather forecasts and a risk of flooding, urging residents to avoid travel and outdoor activities. 11 communities in the northern and eastern third of the peninsula were on alert for the risk of rain and storms, while Andalusia was on alert for coastal phenomena. In central Catalonia, heavy rain fell this afternoon in a short period. The Ebro River swept away several vehicles as it passed through the city of Surya, Barcelona.
Ojo amb nosaltres, tios.
Aragon remains under emergency level 2 of the Special Civil Protection Plan this Saturday due to the storm that has been affecting the region since Friday, with particular attention being paid to the northern and southern regions. The autonomous region continued to experience heavy rain in various areas this afternoon, although the incidents were isolated and the situation has improved across the region. President George Azkan was forced to cancel his visit to Tarazona due to a delay in his flight from the Balearic Islands, where he was spending the weekend with his family.
Aquest és el nou canal, Anoia Carme.
Tarazona had a difficult day at the end of Friday. In this municipality at the foot of Mount Moncayo, 80 kilometers from Zaragoza, its main promenade was flooded and several businesses were submerged. This morning, firefighters were still pumping water out of a garage that had damaged a dozen cars and 8 motorcycles. In Catalonia, the storm has been gaining strength since this afternoon between the Barcelona and Girona regions. The storm that hit Catalonia due to the overflowing Dana River has caused heavy rain in the Penedès, Anoia, and Tierras del Ebro regions. 112 has received more than 1,250 calls due to the heavy rain. Similarly, the Generalitat Fire Brigade has responded to a total of 732 storm-related service calls as of 4:30 p.m. In the Penedès region, organizers of the Acampado Festival have decided to temporarily vacate the camping area reserved for event attendees due to the high risk of heavy rain and flooding. As an alternative, the town sports center of Sant Sadurní d'Anoia has been opened. In Barcelona, the Cruala Festival announced that for safety reasons, and in accordance with civil protection guidelines, the opening of the festival gates has been postponed until 9:30 p.m. The organizers have stated that they are working with the artists to reschedule the performances. In Sant Feliu de Guíxols, Girona, organizers of the Portaferrada Festival have announced that a concert scheduled for this Saturday by the rock band Europe has been cancelled. In Barcelona, the city council has announced that all parks will remain closed for safety reasons. Public concerns about Friday's heavy rain in Aragon are beginning to ease. Heavy rains particularly affected the Moncayo region and towns along the Ebro River. The Aragonese government even activated the ES alert messaging system at midnight to warn residents of Zaragoza and its surrounding areas of the emit red alert. The message urged residents to avoid traveling on roads and to stay in basements and ground floors. The situation was most complex in the areas around Figueruelas, Pedrola, Grayson, Penedès, and Burbles, but without any fatalities or injuries. The A122 highway was closed due to flooding in both directions, and the train line, which had resumed operations in Castellón de Sos after being closed overnight, was also damaged by the tornado, forcing traffic to be halted in other areas such as Quinto and Fuentes de Ebro. This affected the medium-distance route from Zaragoza to Casp to Barcelona, which was replaced by buses. Marisol Utrilla, a shop owner from Tarazona, recounted how I was talking to the shop assistant about how dark it was, and within 5 minutes a river started flowing down the main road, which gradually widened, she said. That's when I started to worry because Valencia came to mind, he added. The streets were immediately packed and cars and tree branches were flying. This morning, the city council was forced to cut down some damaged trees. However, as Councillor Cesar Garcia emphasized, the situation is under control and we woke up feeling much more relaxed. There's still time to clean up and assess the damage. That's what they were doing this morning in Fuentes de Ebro, where the mayor, Pilar Pallacin, explained how the city's rain gauge recorded 102 liters. It's brutal, she explained, because the General River, which was barely flowing, is now overflowing. Something has happened that hasn't happened in 100 years. In the city, sports and municipal facilities have flooded bathrooms, fields, and changing rooms, and the extent of the damage is still unknown. In Penedès and Burbles, Zaragoza, fear still haunts them. People don't know what to do and are very scared, said their mayors, Jose Luis Blanco and Jose Maria Sanz. The Mediterranean Emergency Management Unit, UME, has been deployed in these towns where one house had to be evacuated and in others, water levels reached 1 meter. They lost electricity, further complicating the situation. The extent of the damage on their flooded land remains unknown. As Saturday morning progressed, the storm continued to wreak havoc in the eastern region of Catalonia. There, mobile phone warnings were issued to avoid road travel as much as possible. The same applies to trains, which will be suspended along the Mediterranean corridor until further notice. Heavy rain is expected in the northern region of Tarragona, the Barcelona region, and central Barcelona. Meanwhile, in Castell and Leon, the worst conditions will occur this Friday. The skies began to clear in the afternoon and hail and rain began to fall in Las Merindades, an area with spectacular landscapes and rugged terrain that is highly sought after by evacuees from various regions, reports Juan Navarro. Warnings of potential hail in the area prompted precautionary measures to evacuate approximately 400 teenagers aged between 8 and 18, along with their instructors and caregivers. The Valencia City Council has decided to evacuate the city's beaches and maintain the closure of parks, gardens, and public cemeteries. The government has also suspended activities at municipal outdoor sports facilities, including swimming pools. In Castellón, 21 storm-related operations have been carried out by 3:00 p.m. No one was affected. Among the most notable operations were 2 rescues of people trapped in vehicles in Vinaros, 1 operation for a traffic accident on the AP7 at Oropesa, and several operations to remove objects from public roads, but the majority of these operations were pumping water from basements and garages. In Castellón, the municipality of Castellón, firefighters have carried out 4 rescues from blocked cars, but none were life-threatening. They also carried out 3 rescues from falling debris, 2 fires in exterior electrical panels, and 25 pumping operations in garages and basements. Firefighters continue to work and are on constant alert as similar rains could occur this afternoon, according to the City Hall. The city government added that more than 10 liters of rain fell in the capital in 10 minutes and 30 liters in an hour with very heavy intensity, causing occasional flooding and water entering buildings and homes, reports Maria Pitarch.